Welcome back, everybody, at Sport Federation TV. Nice to have you along. And of course, as you know, we look at sport in the Western Cape across the provinces. Well, of course, you will know that we've had quite a lot of baseball activity in the Western Cape recently. It was the National Baseball Championships held in Cape Town just a few weeks ago, where, of course, Western Cape Baseball was the host. Folks, we are lucky enough to have in studio with us tonight Andy Berglund. Andy is, of course, Major League Baseball coach, helping out here in South Africa. Andy, you've been involved for quite a while. Welcome to Sport Federation TV.
Hey, pleasure to be here. Honestly, it's great. I'm glad that we're getting a chance to interact and be on TV. It's wonderful.
You've been coming and going to South Africa for a while now.
Yeah, the first time I think I set foot down here was 2013 for Major League Baseball camps, and I've been coming back probably every year since, despite COVID, and then now I'm back again. Excited.
So just tell us a little bit about that. When you say Major League Baseball camps, I mean, you work for Major League Baseball. How's that connect?
Well, it started with Major League Baseball wanting development, more expansion, like it coming down over to Europe and into Africa. So I was an envoy coach for a number of years, and then I started working for Major League Baseball's development programs to try to get more players and coaches education and get them to a higher level, you know, as a base structure. And then we would run African elite camps down here in South Africa every December and invite in the 40 best African players from Uganda, Kenya, here in South Africa, different parts of the continent, and try to grow the game that way.
So one of the things that I've asked a few baseball coaches is, what makes a good baseball player? I mean, where does it? Yeah, I suppose
honestly, great question. Like it starts really at a young age. I learned this from some of the best physical movement coaches in the world, that once you start at a young age, it can carry through. And it's sports like that you're involved with, karate, gymnastics, soccer, movement skills that develop this elite athletic base in kids, which is fun to watch. Like you can see it at a young age, and then it develops through good coaching into adulthood. But for us, I'm a scout for the Milwaukee Brewers, and we look at specific tools that make a professional athlete, a professional baseball player. So it's hitting for power, hitting for average, it's arm speed, how fast they can throw the ball, it's running speed, and it's defensibility. So these 5 tools we're constantly evaluating, measuring, and then there's now a standard that we can compare where the best in the world are at, and that's how they can eventually become Major League Baseball players.
Do you need time to adjust to becoming a baseball player in terms of your muscular structure or your physical structure? I mean, if I throw a baseball now, I think my shoulder will fall out. But it's probably because I'm not used to it, and my ligaments and joints and so on are not conditioned to it. Is it something that you can start overnight, or does it take time?
No, it takes time. This muscle memory is built up from the time you're young. Again, like it's so much easier to train an athlete, you know, in any sport. If they've got good movement patterns and skills, we can take them to a higher level quickly or quicker. And so throwing is such a huge part of our game. And guys at the elite level, Major League level, can throw that thing 160 kilometers per hour or higher, you know? And so it's an amazing amount of speed that they develop. It starts from their lower half, their core, and then it develops into this amazing speed of the game. So you can't just you wouldn't be able to pick up a ball and throw it 160K. No offense. You know, it's going to take some work. But we can develop programs and drills and strength programs that get guys on that path.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be on the side of the field. We call it side of the field. Yep. Maybe you guys call it the side of the park or the side of the nets.
Right.
On Sunday, when you were busy coaching the national baseball side, we know that you had an elite camp here. And looking at the players, I saw that they were able to hit a ball without having seen the ball position before hitting the ball. Now, if I had to try and hit a ball, I would probably miss and just swing at it. But it seems like, and for lack of experience, it looks like our national players are quite tuned in.
Yeah, as far as like the sport goes, like that also starts at a young age. Like we are known for hand-eye coordination. That's the key to our sport.
Yeah.
You know, a hitter only has less than half a second to react to one of those pitches coming in. So we've developed really good vision and really good hand-eye coordination. So those guys like that you saw probably hit thousands and thousands of repetitions of balls.
Yeah.
You know, so they're building up good muscle memory if they're doing it correctly. And it's a lot of work. Like I think you asked me the other night, what's it take? It takes hitting every day to become an elite hitter. It takes throwing every day to become one.
How important is you talk about repetition for you guys? Do you guys do things like visualization drills where you imagine the ball or imagine the pitcher or imagine the stadium?
Yeah, all of that. There's not, like I've seen, you know, at the advanced level, they've got the batting cages as well that have like a pitcher that's simulating that he's a pitcher, and it's an actual virtual pitcher coming at you, and then the ball comes out of his hand. So we do a ton of stuff visually. We try to train these guys because some of those guys playing outfield have to track down balls at amazing speeds, or infield, you know, coming off the bat. So we do a ton of stuff that incorporates that as far as vision training. And then the physical side, if you can move well, that helps your eyes react to the ball as well. So they're elite athletes. I think there's a misconception that baseball players aren't, because sometimes you see these big type of, and they are. Some of these, like the South Africa side is like rugby type built baseball players. It's awesome, you know? But your sports down here, like cricket, rugby, the elite sports, it's the same kind of concepts. Like you have to have great vision, great feet to excel at these sports.
It's a big year for baseball. It's a big year for all sport. The last 2 years has been exceptionally difficult for sport to be active.
Yep.
And baseball this year have got a number of world championships on the cards.
Yep. All the way across the board. So all the way from, what I'm working with specifically here is our senior level. Like we've got a tournament in mid-September up in Germany called the World Baseball Classic Qualifier. So the 5 best teams in Europe and us are competing for the top 2 spots. And those top 2 spots will go on to one of the biggest tournaments in the world next spring called the World Baseball Classic. So it's a huge honor to be invited to the qualifier and compete against the Czechs, Spain, Great Britain, France, and there's one other team that I'm forgetting. But there's 6 of us, you know, for 2 spots, and it's going to be an epic battle to try to make this tournament. But then going down, under 23s, under 18s, under 15s, under 12s are all playing World Cups for South Africa. Yeah. So they'll be taking their baseball talents anywhere from Florida in the U.S. to Taiwan overseas. Like there's a ton of action for South Africa baseball this year.
And we've got quite a few athletes from the Western Cape actually in your national team.
Yeah, we're doing trainings like a few times a week right now. I've been down here a few weeks, and I'm like saying we're training every day, gentlemen. Let's go. Yeah. You know, let's get some work in. Let's get some quality work in. But yeah, there's a number of players in the local area from the clubs from here in the Western Province here that have shown up to trainings, gotten better, like quickly from good coaching. And then we have to make the tough decision to decide which of the 20 to 28 of those guys will represent South Africa.
One of the new big factors with baseball and the Olympics is baseball 5s. Yep. This looks like it's a growing fast now. South Africa's competing in that as well, I believe, in Dar es Salaam. Yep. In fact, I believe they leave this weekend. This is a unique initiative for World Baseball and Softball Confederation.
I love it. Honestly, I love it. Like it is a simplified version of the game where you can have 5 players playing against each other in a shortened distance. You can play it in the streets. You can play it in a tennis court. It gets people involved in the game that might not have in the past. And then it's still the action of the sport. It's still hand-eye coordination. It's movement. It's running the bases.
But one of the things people don't know is that you actually don't use a baseball bat.
No, it's just I believe it's just toss and hit with the hand. You know, and then it's a lot of movement. It's a lot of action. So like it's cool to see like just. It's everyday people that are trying to jump in and see what this sport can do. It's pretty fun.
Andy, what's next for you now? You've got obviously your work cut out for you, working with the South African team, getting them to Germany in September. Yep. Will you be back soon? Do you now liaise with the guys internationally like you have been?
Yeah, like the goal coming down here was to set a foundation for what we're trying to do over the next 4 months. So the next 120 days of work that we have to put in, like we tried really hard over these last 2 weeks to set that foundation, get it right, at an elite start for what we're trying to do. So now it's the back and forth, communication, accountability. The coaches that we have here with the national teams will be running trainings at a high level. Yeah. The players know what they need to do. A lot of physical testings, all the things that you need to have to train over the next 4 months. So We got our work cut out for us, you know. The teams we're going to be facing are going to bring in a lot of professional talent. We're also going to try to bring in South Africa born and raised talent that are playing overseas that'll join the squad. So the 4 months that we have coming up are going to be day-to-day grinding out how we're going to finish in the top 2.
Well, you've got your work cut out for you. I'm 100% sure you've got Western Cape Baseball supporting you, Baseball South Africa. It's all very exciting, and we hope to get you back in the studio soon with some of the local coaches. And if not, well, good luck for Germany in September. I'm sure we're going to win it.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
There we go, folks. Andy Berglund, of course, Major League Baseball, here with the South African national side and preparing for the World Championships qualifier in September. Very exciting. Baseball South Africa doing exceptionally well. And of course, our Western Cape baseball athletes, many of them in the South African team. And of course, stationed here in Cape Town and across the province. Folks, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll carry on talking sport. Back in a sec.